sort of highlight mistakes that you don't then need to make yourself. You'd like the plan. Really terrible at straighten out. There you go. Okay, cool. So the plan behind a load of this is to highlight pain points, issues, problems that you might be facing in your business so that you don't have to live with these problems. The vast majority of the time, the problems that we are facing, the issues that we are having are easier to get rid of than we think about. And a lot of the time, the biggest problem behind it is that when we're going out and we're trying to fix these problems, we're not actually approaching it with new eyes. And the problem we're going to face with the vast majority of issues that we face in our business, it's going to come down to a couple of things. One of the biggest parts is that we are at the actual within the business itself. And let me explain a little bit what we're talking about. So think about it. No one is intentionally going to go out in the world and do things in the wrong way we've all experienced bad service, bad sales, bad processes, bad businesses. And every one of those businesses that you've ever had a bad experience with, they didn't wake up on that morning and go, I'm going to suck today. I'm going to screw up that sale today. I'm going to make that mistake today. But the fact is, the mistake happened all the same. And they come down from a couple of reasons. And one of the biggest problems the process and the way that we're doing things have actually been inherited by the person without actually being able to effectively check whether it is still the most viable option or if now it's actually causing a problem. Anything that we're doing within the business, the goal is for it to increase flow. The problem is actually reducing flow and increase without us actually realizing, because the way it's been explained to us, the way we were taught, it made logical sense, but in an outdated method. So what I want to talk to you about over the space for the next 20 minutes, what are some of the things that we're seeing to actually elevate what they're actually trying to do? Because the problem is for most businesses out there, if we want to go off and see an increase in results, we've got to make a change in what we're doing. The problem is there's a worry that the change is actually going to lower the existing results, so people don't do it. So think of it like this. What you're doing right now might be a problem, but there's a worry that if you change what you're doing right now, it might actually make the problem bigger. It might actually cause more friction. It might actually become harder. And because people are sailing close to the line and they're only having a business, let's say, for example, that it's stuck at the 20K a month bracket, they worry because they sell 5K, 10K, and then suddenly we're not even making any money. As an example, your business might be a bit different. And the problem is for a lot of companies. So, for example, we've worked in a lot of companies in and around, for example, the solar space. Now, if you've got a solar company and your profit margin, let's say that you're doing 20 grand a month, really low, but your profit margin is only at 20 to 25%. if you suddenly make a change here and that drops down to 10K in sales because your average sale is around 8K, you're suddenly in a really bad position. So what do people do instead? They stay where they are and they just hope that time passing is actually going to make a big difference. But there's a real problem with doing this. And this is what I'm going to talk about today. Just time passing doesn't equal more results. What it actually does, it forms habit. Waiting for more time to pass, what are some of the areas around either our skills, our processes, can't spell, maybe the system, or maybe even down to the mindset or down to the habits within the business. And this isn't about getting up in the morning and doing a 5 a.m. cold plunge. Good luck to you if you like doing that. But I want you to think about this a little bit more. With your business, the way it's set up at the moment, skills, it's not process, it's not system, it's not your mindset, and it's not your habits, and you're not going to just rely on time happening. What are the other options you can actually go down that rabbit hole with? Because for the vast majority of the time, most people out there, what they're actually doing is an ineffective way of selling. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put you up, right? And I'm just going to stick to doing one board. Right, if I leave you there. Right, sorry, I'm trying to mess around with another camera now. Right. If I just stick to one board today, it'll be easier. Okay. Right, so you should be able to see that. Okay, so we're going to just stick to that one board just because it's going to be easier. So you've got to look at it into the business itself. So you've either got to hope that time is just going to happen. For most of you, you probably realize now that time passing is not a guarantee of success. It's actually not even beneficial because all what happens is we enforce the existing habits, we enforce the existing process and systems, which a lot of the time they're already not effective. So time passing isn't an option. So then you go, okay, what are the other plays that we've got? Maybe it's the fact is that we need to improve the way we do things. Now, this doesn't mean that what you do now sucks. But go back to what we said earlier. If we're telling that no one does it wrong on purpose, ask yourself this question. The processes you have now for what you're doing, the system that you have now, how do you know that it's the most effective it could be? Now, if you're not sure if your process is the most effective, then that's likely going to be one of the avenues that you can focus in on. But the problem is, if you're going to go off and you have no skills of any nature of doing this successfully, if you've got no real skills around building out a system, what you're going to have to then do is guess what to change and go back to passing more time. Because you've got to make a change in your system or your process, and then you're going to make that change, and now you've got to test it. Maybe that's going to be for a week. Maybe that's for a month. But let's say it took you 10 hours worth of work. Changing our system and our process, we might need to change again. We test it again. We need it another week, or we need it another month. We make a change again, another month. Suddenly, we are 3 months down the line, and we are still trying to guess together what the changes actually need to happen. And now your business is at the stage but you're more tired, you're more stressed, you're more frustrated, and you are still guessing what is going to make the system and the process better. Now, one of the biggest problems for most businesses that are out there is because you're trying to get to a place that you've never been to. Let's say what that target is. Let's say the target's 100K per month. It might be 30K a month. It could be £1 million a month, whatever it is. For you to get to this target, you've got to go out of what you're currently doing and you have to make a change. But if what you were doing currently was enough to get you to this target, we would already be there. So what we've got to work out is, for us to have there has to be a new change, and we have to have new actions. The problem is, if we knew what new actions were needed, you would already do it. So where does that leave you? You now apps 2 seconds. So we use an Opal app and it locks your phone off after 15 minutes, but it stops me staring at stuff. So what we need to be able to look at is, if our goal now is 100K, 30K, whatever it is, for us to get to that new level, we've got to change something. Skills, habits, processes, whatever that might be. And then once you change those areas, it's going to make it far easier to grow. What isn't going to help is just putting in more people. In some instances, if you've got a good business and it's already set up with the right system and processes, sure, you might be able to put someone in. But a lot of the time, and the problem is, right, we're back. Sorry, TikTok. The pesky app shut us off. We've got a productivity app and it closed us off. So here's the problem we've got. So we might go, okay, cool. Well, I might just bolt in a member of staff to help me. But the problem is, for most businesses, if you're a founder-led sales business, as in you're a one-man band, a one-person band, for you to go off and put a staff member in, say, for example, a sales role, you need to take everything that's in your head and you need to have it in a documented way that the new person can just follow easily and effectively. Otherwise, what you're doing is you're leaving that person just to guess. And if all you're doing is leaving this person to guess, you're going to end up with a very disjointed plan that might work, but you are again leaving it there you are now. You've got to understand what is the current location for you and your business, what are the current hurdles that you face, and what are some of the simple steps that you've tried before. And what you've after time got to do is you have to make a decision that the current path is no longer acceptable and I need a new path. And a lot of the time people need to go through some pain, some failure, some misery, some time to get isn't going to happen. Because what happens with most people is they fail to make a decision to make a change. And they stay with 1 foot in the past, 1 foot hoping it's going to magically get better, and they put 1 foot in the other side. And that doesn't work. So one of the biggest mistakes that we can face is not fully going into the step of making a decision fully in this to move it forward. Right, I've got calls in 4 minutes, so I need to go. Have a good day today. Happy